All right, so we're gonna start up front here. You got your landing leg control. Retract and bring it down. Extend and raise it up. And once you got it hooked to the truck and you got the legs up, you're gonna pull these pins and the legs will retract the rest of the way up inside the leg there. You also have a nice convenience light here for hooking up at night. On your pin box, you have a greaseless nylon ring there. Then you also have your breakaway cable, which you'll hook up to the truck side. And then you got your 7-pin plug that goes to the truck, controls all the lights and the brakes on the trailer. Front compartment here. Open this up. You got access to your Group 27 deep cycle battery. On the negative side, there is a battery disconnect. You can take that off when you're storing it and you're not using it to help keep the battery life up and not let it drain down. Then you got your generator. We did find that the valve cover was leaking while we were going through the prep. So we changed out the valve cover gasket, new oil and filter during the oil change during that repair there. So there is a switch out here. There is also a switch inside, which I'll show you when we get back in inside there. And you really just want to access starting it up and stopping it inside there. So cover's got to stay on while it's running for ventilation purposes to help keep it cool. But it does have the grate in the front to let air come in, and then exhaust goes down the bottom there. You got your spare tire up front here. Just crank, lowers it down just like you would on the back of your pickup truck. We're gonna move around the side here. You got 2 brand new propane tanks. The other ones were out of date, so these are brand new. They're good from the date on the stamped on the collar here for 10 years. When you're operating these, you want to make sure that the valves are all the way on and all the way off. In the middle here, you have your auto selector for the regulator. If you have it straight up, it'll pull off of whichever tank has more pressure in it. Once that pressure comes down, it's going to automatically switch over to the other tank. And what that's good for is if you're boondocking or dry camping, the fridge isn't going to run out of propane if you have it selected to one tank or the other tank. And the other thing too is if you're camping and it's cold out and you got the furnace running in the middle of the night, you're not going to run out of propane on one tank and then have to come out here, switch it over to the other tank and get the furnace to relight. By that point, you know, you're already cold and it's going to take a little while to get the heat going again. So if you keep it selected in the middle, it's going to, like I said before, it's going to pull off of one tank and then automatically switch over and pull off the other tank. Shut these down. And there are no locks on these. Obviously, for safety purposes, if there ever is an emergency, you can get right in here and get those tanks shut off. This is the other side of that pass-through compartment, which you guys already put some of your goodies in there. You got your city water connection here. This is if you're going to be camping at a campground. You got the city water connection. You're going to be using that white hose instead of a regular garden hose. You need a potable water hose for that. Shower door replaced on there. Come back here. You do have storage that goes underneath one of the dinette chairs. Joe, if you can get in here, we got your sewer discharge here. That's where you're going to hook your sewer hose up to. And then you have your 2 valves. You have your black tank and your gray tank for the front bathroom there. And then in the back over here, you do have another tank, another port here, and that's for the kitchen gray tank. Then you got your fuel for your generator as well as for your toys. There's a discharge in there. So you got your 25 to 30 foot 50 amp cord here. It just stores up into this compartment here. You got your cable hookup here. This is going to be if you're at a campground, you got the cable to hook up into for cable TV. So the ladder has to be removed in order to use this ramp door. Now to do that, there's 4 pins here. I'm gonna pop these pins off. And then you're gonna pull this out, and it just hooks with these two hooks here on that top rung up at the top there. Then you can set this down, probably store it up underneath, and then you'll be able to use the ramp door. And then once you're done, you close the ramp door up. It's just a matter of sliding this back up and lining these back up into the slots and putting the pins back in. Alright. You got tri-fold steps here. To go into the garage area here. Pull out, fold it out again. You do have a door hold back for that door up front. Now if you're going to be under the awning here and you're grilling out or something, or if you got a table set up here, just know that you have your exhaust for your water heater here, about 160 degrees, and you got your furnace exhaust here as well. It's about 160 degrees as well. So anything out here that's set up, it does have the possibility to either catch fire or melt. So obviously you want to be aware of what you got going on with the furnace and the water heater out here. You got your potable water here. This is for if you're going to be boondocking or dry camping, to be able to fill your fresh water tank and have onboard water. The drain for that is up under here. Just gonna pull this T down and it's gonna drain out. I actually had it draining earlier after I tested everything, so just pushed it up, closed that off, and that shut the drain off there. You don't want to keep any water stored in there, obviously, for you don't want to be getting any mold or mildew built up in that tank. There's the other side of that pass through. You got your crank here for your rear stabilizer jacks. And this is just in case if the slide outs ever go out, you can stick that in there and crank the slide outs and drive them in manually. And this rod right here is for the awning. You got a tab up here. You're gonna pull that tab down. Grab a hold of this strap. Pull it out. You're gonna unlock these arms here. Pull this all the way out. We have a unit right here, so obviously we can't open it up all the way. But once you get it out, there's going to be a flap that's going to come straight down. That's as far as you want that to stick out. Then you're going to take these right here. These will slide up and lock into place. And then you're going to put a little tension on it and tighten that down. And then depending on which side you want it to pitch to for, you know, light rain situation, you can raise and lower these arms right here just by flipping this lever up. And then it does have all the little holes that it can go into as far as which way you want it to pitch. So like I said, if it is lightly raining out, you can have these out. Heavy winds, heavy rain, obviously you want this thing in. They will act like a big sail and cause damage. So, and then when you go to put it back in, make sure that it is all the way down to this bolt here. Then you're going to pull down on this tab right here and loosen this up. That's going to release this arm and let it slide back down. You're going to be able to roll it back up. And then with a second person, you want somebody holding down on the tension on that strap, and the other person's going to take the lever here and flip it up so that it's releasing to roll back up. Good job. Can you flip that? It's gonna just start rolling it back up. Roll all the way up. Then you're just going to grab the inner bar and the outer bar and squeeze it till that lock pops back into place. Now the arms are locked in for travel. Alright, same thing, you got your trifold steps. Door opens up, screen door stays with it. You got your door hold back there. And then to release the screen door, you're just going to pull down on the handle. And then you can use the screen door and leave the door open if it's a nice day out and you're not having the AC run, you're not worried about the air escaping. So. Door hold back there. When you first walk in, you got your fire extinguisher, and you got your LP detector. That's a brand new LP detector. The old one was out of date, so we replaced that. Also, when you first walk in, you have this panel here. This is where your 110 breakers are and your 12-volt fuses. Everything's labeled. Also, this is a converter charger. So what that's doing while you're plugged in, it's charging up the battery. It's also converting the 110 power to 12 volt for all the lights and all the 12 volt sources, like your furnace, your water heater, and your fridge all need that 12 volt. And inside this cabinet here, you have your monitor panel, you have your battery levels, your fresh tank, black tank, gray tank, and your secondary gray tank. You also have your water pump for on-demand water. That's only if you're working off the freshwater tank. If you're hooked to city water, you do not need that. Also, you have your gas side of the water heater, and then you have your electric side of the water heater. Now, if you're camping somewhere for a short period of time and you're not having to pay for electricity, I always recommend using the electricity there, not using up your own LP gas that you have to pay for. So you can use both of them at the same time. It does speed up the recovery rate by about 15-20%. So if you first get somewhere, you can turn them both on, have them both running, or if you need to, you have 3, 4, 5 people taking showers, back to back to back, you can turn them both on. It'll help speed up that recovery rate as well. You also have your slide out room controls. In brings them in, out brings them out. Now, hearing that clicking noise, that means they're all the way out, and it'll also do it when they're all the way in. That is normal. Like I said, outside we do have the Awning generator control here. Now, to start this thing up, you want to hit the stop prime. The light will come on. That means the carburetor and the fuel pump or the fuel pump rather is filling up the carburetor, making sure that there's plenty of fuel in there. You hold it for about 10-15 seconds, and then you're going to hit the start, crank it up, and it does have the that clicking noise you're hearing is the hour counter. Right now it's at 131. About every 100 hours, or at least once a year, you want to change that generator oil. Also, check the air filter, and probably recommend, sometime soon is the fuel filter as well. So, and then just hit it down once to the stop, and it shuts it down. And you do have your fuel gauge here as well. Come around the corner here, you have your main light switch and your outside light switch, and then your fan switch as well, which this one switch controls the light and the fan. So then the pull chains will control the light being on, and then the fan speed. There is 3 fan speeds on there as well. You do have a privacy door for the bedroom. Up here, it does have the strap for travel. Up in, the ceiling lights are controlled by the switches on the lights themselves. You have your full door here. Now these have to stay closed with the travel locks in place, obviously, while you're going down the road. But you just gotta, it's just a matter of pulling that back and opening it up. And it does it on both sides there. You do have storage underneath the bed. And the bed is a slide out. This part is stationary. The top part slides in and out over the top of it. Plenty of storage throughout here. You got a small TV. You do have another light here, and the switch is underneath. Cabinets up above. You do have a light switch up here as well. Medicine cabinet. You got your sink, storage underneath. You do have another privacy. This does have a hold back there. Now this will close and connect to the wall right here. And you're gonna flip this back over. There is a little button that it attaches to. Back over here for storage. And you do have a travel lock on the shower door as well. Keep that closed while you're going down the road. That does open up the full shower. Now on that shower head, that up top, there's a silver slide switch there. Now that switch will shut flow off to the water. Normally you're working off of, at home, you're working off of a 30, 40, 50 gallon water heater. So you're used to just taking, you know, 5, 10, 15 minute showers. Got a 8, 10 gallon water heater here. So what you want to do to save that hot water is you can turn your valves on and set your temperature, rinse off, and then shut that valve off on the shower head itself, and that just stops the flow. So you're not having to shut the water off and turn it back on and get your temperature reset every time. So it's just helping save on that the hot water. Even though you're hooked up to city water, you're still having to have that reserve of the hot water itself. So then on the wall here, you do have a light switch just for the light right here. And you walk into the toilet room. It's a foot flush. You're gonna push it down part of the way, it fills the bowl. Push it down the rest of the way, it empties the bowl. You do have an exhaust fan up there. The switch for the exhaust fan is up on the fan itself. And then the crank opens and closes the vent lid. And you do have a light switch for the light in here. Move down to the living room area. All the light switches have these little turn knobs on them, up on the ceiling. And this one, the little reading light, just got the switch up there. You do have 2 speakers up under there for the surround sound, for the DVD player and or the radio. This also doubles as a radio and a DVD player. And you can select your speakers. You can have the rear, both, and the front. And the controls right down here. It's also a nice spot to hook up the TV. Like I said, it does do the surround sound if you're playing on the TV with the DVD player as well. The couch does have a fold-out sofa bed, and then the table, dinette, does turn into a bed as well. You're gonna lift it up, pop these legs off. The tabletop will sit right up on the lips here. You fold these up. Table will sit there. And then what you're going to do is just pull these down and lay these down flat, and that becomes another bed as well. The windows here, these have these crank outs. Clockwise opens them, counterclockwise closes them. And throughout the coach you have your pull down shades. These are just day shades, they aren't day-night shades. Over on the counter, you do have a counter extension. This will just flip up and then lock into place. To fold that back down, you're gonna lift it up, pop these loose from the lock, and then it'll just fold down into place. Drawer storage here. The previous owner left you all the manuals for the coach. You got your keys zip tied to the faucet up here. You do have a freshwater spigot here. There is a filter down in the compartment in here that you can hook up. That's all ready to go for you. That was previously installed by the previous customer. Here you got your light switch for your outside spotlight, and then this light switch over here does the 2 spotlights on the outside as well. You got a light switch under here for your countertop light. You got your fan and your light here. You're gonna turn for the stove top, you're gonna turn to light, and then you're gonna use the striker here. Not sure, I might have shut the propane off earlier. I think I did. The fridge here, it's got 2 sources. You got your LP, and you also have auto, which is your 110 electric. So if you're plugged into 110, it's going to automatically go to that source. As soon as you unplug, and as long as there's enough battery power, it's going to automatically switch over to gas and light on gas. If you're staying somewhere for a long period of time, recommend keeping it on 3 or 4. If you keep it on 5 for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, it does have a tendency to freeze up. Here you do have your bunk ladder. Now this ladder will just hook right into place right here and sit down on the floor. You got all light switches for up top there. You also have light switches for outside lights. And then you also have a light switch in here for the back lights. And while we're back here, there are 2 spotlights on the back. There's a light switch for that right here. And then there is a screen, a mug screen, that just goes down, and it's got 2 spots where it anchors down into the floor there to keep it locked in place. That way you can have the back door open, you can hang out back here, but not have the bugs coming in. That just pulls up, retracts right back into place. You do have an AC back here. You do need a step ladder to get to it, but all the controls are up on the ceiling pack itself. There's just a fan mode, low fan, high fan, and then you have low cool and high cool. And then you have the blue all the way to the red on the thermostat side of that. Obviously the red isn't heat, it's just a cooler temperature. And then all the way on blue is the coldest setting. And you got your cabinets up here. Obviously you need a step ladder to get to those as well, but you do have plenty of cabinet storage up here. Then you got your track system for locking in your toys back here. There also is a secondary furnace for back here as well. You're just gonna flip this over and it's gonna click on and kick the furnace on back here. And then all the way back to the left side there is off. You do have a little table here, same thing. You're just gonna pull it out and lock those in place, push it up, and it unlocks those legs, and that'll fold back as well. You do have a TV set up here. You have your coax output, your 12 or your 110, and then you do have if you wanted to put a 12-volt TV back here, you do have a cigarette lighter for that as well. So that's basic run through of the unit here. If you guys ever have any questions, feel free to give us a call. Joe will get a hold of me, and if Joe can answer your questions, Joe will answer them for you. Also, YouTube's a great thing. Lots of how-to videos. You know, even if you can't figure something out, it may not just be specific to this RV itself. You know, you have your Norcold fridges that are in a lot of units. Your oven, your air conditioner, your furnace, everything really, the water heater. Just specific to each appliance, you'll be able to get an idea of, you know, if you're doing something wrong, or if there actually is something wrong that you need to get it taken care of. So, like I said, any questions, feel free to give us a call.